Hey everybody, Mike Haist here from the R&D Department at Factory Connection. Today we're going to talk to you about this 4CS fork, how it's different from a lot of other forks out in the market, the challenges that it provided us in coming up with a final setting. We had to dig in deep and re-look at a bunch of things. We had to do a bunch of track testing, dyno testing, create a couple of parts, and we feel like we've come together with a final package that's going to make a setting work for you. So as we were going through the different settings on this fork and coming up with the parts that we've made, we had to do a bunch of testing, and we had to do it in different areas. Sometimes you can get away with testing in one sort of terrain, and then with your knowledge you carry things over. With this fork, that didn't work out for us, so it took us a little more time to get this figured out. We had to actually go and test in hard pack, in sand areas, rocks, roots, off-road, deal with the pro-level rider, the vet rider, and we actually tested in all of those environments with all those people. So that helped us to come up with a final package that provided a window of use that's big enough that will cover you from day to day and as you move around from track to track. Of course, all this in the end, we had to back up all our tests on the dyno. The dyno helped steer some of the directions. We'd go out and do the field work. And then once the field work was completed, we'd go back to the dyno and validate to make sure that hydraulically everything was where it needed to be. Okay, so for the revalve on this 4CS fork, we hit a couple of roadblocks and actually had to create a couple of parts this time around. So we ended up where we couldn't get to where we needed to be, so with these new parts tied to the revalve, now we're in a good situation. This, of course, again, back to the dyno, we looked at all the hydraulic character pieces, the pressure balance, and made sure that everything was where it needed to be hydraulically. So, again, the revalve combined with the parts is part of this final solution for the 4CS fork. So one of the mods for this 4CS fork is the CA piston. This is the compression assembly that comes out of the bottom of the fork, and then this is the piston itself. So we actually created a different port shape and changed the volume of this piston, and that tied to the revalve is part of the modifications for this 4CS solution. Next on the list we have the bumper. So we've created this bumper that goes inside. This actually slides over the damper rod and creates a cushioning effect once you get to the end of the stroke, because he gets caught in between two pieces in the fork when you come up to the very end of the stroke. Pre this piece there was no cushioning effect, so once you got right to the end of the stroke it was a hard stop. Now you have something to cushion that very end part of the travel so you don't feel that stinging whack once you bottom in your wrist. One of the other pieces that we created for this 4CS solution is what we call the BCV cup kit. So that slides in here, it goes where the mid-speed valving is. So what this guy does is it provides us some tuning options and helps alleviate the square edge hit, the rocks, the roots, that sort of thing. Everything that was a really sharp and square edge impact, it provides us some different tuning solutions there, and it takes that spike out of the fork. So if we look at all of the pieces that we've created tied with the revalve together, again we have this CA piston mod, we have the bumpers, the BCV cup kit, that tied with our choice of oil level for your specific needs, and the revalve, we've ended up with a complete solution for the 4CS fork. This is going to take you now with a large enough window to go from one track to another and be able to tune things in properly. You're not going to be stuck in this narrow window where we were previously. So it took us a lot of time to get here. A lot of homework went into this, a lot of field testing, a lot of travel, a lot of dyno runs, but in the end we think you're really going to be pleased with this product.